read you this article that I read in the Washington Post concerning the black theater and black theater in general in the United States. And I'm going to give you my opinion on that. I myself run a theater company. I used to run 3 theater companies. I now run 1. And I had to reduce my seasons from 4 plays a year to 1 play. And recently, not even that. I'm now doing stage readings, and that has been reduced. You know, the situation with black theater in this country and Hispanic theater too, and that's another topic that I talk about on Facebook in Spanish with my Spanish audience and subscribers. But here's an article that I read about black theater, particularly what's going on in Washington, D.C. And the article is by Deneen Brown of the Washington Post. In this city with a population that is almost 50% African American, there's only one full-time professional black theater company. No, there are no black-owned theater houses or stages in operation. Now, that's not hard to believe. Yet, on any given Sunday, a theater goer might open a newspaper and find a black play on any given stage. What's that about? This past session in Washington was, season. This past season in Washington, D.C. was packed with plays by or for or about African Americans. Arena Stage presented Every Tongue Confess, starring Felicia Rashad, Lynn Nugget Ruined, about rape in the Congo, and Trouble in Mind, a play by Alice Childress about race in show business. Woolly Mammoth Theater Company presented Booty Candy, Robert O'Hara's play about growing up gay and African American. These are great topics, great plays. And of course, there is a conspiracy to deprive people of the black theater experience for many, many, many reasons. For many reasons. You know, it seems that this country does not want people to be educated about the black experience. Why? Because it might shift political power. Now you might ask yourself, how can that shift political power if we embody people, educate people about the black experience? Well, think about it. Look at The Great White Way and all the plays and musicals on Broadway, you know, and the successful careers that are being launched with whites in their own venues. Okay, and it brings international attention. Tourists come from all over the world and watch Broadway. 65% of ticket sales for Broadway, The Great White Way, come from whites, and they come from foreigners. Okay, so that right there lets you know that it's about economics. It's about economics. And also to deprive the African American community and culture of its own reflection. Because, when you look at a play about your own people, it's a reflection about you, your people, your culture, and where you're heading. And that can put you on a course to make you become a better person, a better father, mother, a better son, a better family, a better society, a productive, educated, informed society that can then compete on an even scale with other cultures and ethnicities. But when you cut theater from educational programs from schools, because that's the conspiracy. They cut it in the schools. They cut it in the grassroots, so we don't get the money to be able to create theater houses for our own shows. They attack on every angle. That's not a coincidence. And I can say that because I have been in theater my whole life since I was 13 years old. I started out as an actor. I'm still an actor, and I run a theater house. And trust me, to this day, I still don't have a 501c3, and I fight, and I'm a fighter. And I don't think I know anyone more knowledgeable than I am when it comes to theater politics, particularly black theater politics. You know, and this is, still has been a struggle, and it is so clearly evident that it is a barrier set up so like that this does not occur. But you know what? You know what I have to say to that? That's all right. Mother Nature always has something in store. You know, I don't I don't mess with nature. You know, something's gonna give. 2012 is not a doomsday. I don't believe in that. But trust me, like that movie with Diane Keaton and who was it? Jack Nicholson. Something's gotta give. Well, something's gonna give, all right. Now, the Theater Alliance, a mostly white group founded to illuminate the interests of DC's diverse population, presented a mesmerizing black nativity at the H Street Playhouse. The Ford's Theater 210-211 season opened with Sabrina Fair by Samuel A. Taylor, which featured a black actress in the role famously played by Audrey Hepburn. Fela, okay, the energetic, real-life tale of legendary Nigerian singer Fela Kuti, produced by Jay-Z, with Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, played to sell-out audiences at none other than the Shakespeare Theater Company. Shakespeare Theater Company. Why not our own theater house? They don't want that. White boy don't want us to have that. And they do it in so many insidious ways. You don't get the funding. You don't get the confirmation letters. You don't get this. You don't get these assets. And then you're filibustered or pigeonholed. And it doesn't happen. And it's an ongoing process. It's a fight. It's a fight. I know it because I'm living it. I'm fighting that. But that's okay because they got the right one. You know, but unfortunately, not everyone is as knowledgeable or strong, especially with a powerful ego to still fight and still make it happen. Because I still make my seasons happen, but it is. I'm so happy that finally somebody wrote about it because it seems to be slipping right underneath our noses. Now what? Now come on, Jada Pinkett Smith, Jay Z. Okay, I mean Will Smith, and I love them. I love them. I love the fact that they created this. It just shows what we can do. But we gotta have our own theater house, and we gotta rally together and make it happen because it's by design. It's by design. The season shows the hunger for black theater in this city, says Glenn Allen, quote unquote. I'm using his words. The executive director of the DC Black Theater Festival, okay, which showcases national and international playwrights of color. But all these shows were presented by mainstream theater companies or on mainstream. Okay? On mainstream stages, not by black theater companies with their own spaces. Okay, quote unquote. Again, this is said by Allen. Jennifer L. Nelson, who for years, led African Continuum Theater, the city's only full-time professional African American theater troupe, says, quote unquote, one of the things we are seeing happening in mainstream theater are more plays by African American writers being done in mainstream than before. So what does that say? What does that say? What does that say? It says that people are scared. Not that they're scared. Let me take that back. There is no venue for us to be able to present in our own theater houses. They don't want us to own any. Otherwise, we're gonna pull the money. It's all about economics. It really is. Nelson, now Ford's director of special programming, said, quote and unquote, all regional theaters include plays by African Americans in their seasons, while plays by or about blacks have been proliferating in Washington. Black theater companies have not. The historic Tacoma Theater is black owned, but for years, has sat shuttered in Tacoma Park. The legendary DC Black Repertory Company, founded in the 1970s by Robert Hooks, is gone. Its successor, DC Rep Stage, produces plays in residence at Howard Community College. African Continuum, which usually stages its performances at the Atlas Performing Arts Center, has reduced its seasons as well. Okay, we have seen a number of our theaters go under, said Nelson, quote and unquote. Since the economic downturn, it has gotten worse. What is the state of black theater in D.C., in Washington, D.C.? This question keeps being asked over and over again. I wish I had an answer that would make it clear, because it is not 100% clear to anybody. Yeah, it is. You don't want to look at it. It's about the money. They don't want us to pull the money from the competing venues. We have more compelling stories to say, and truthful ones. Eye-opening stories that can alert the world as to what we're really living and experiencing and going on. Whitey don't want that to happen. They don't want that to happen. And that's why we don't own the theater houses. They block the access, the funding, the money, the know-how, the workshops. They know how to do it. But it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Because Mother Nature has something in store. You don't, you can't be an oppressor for too long. Something's gotta give. And something will give. Okay. One fact is clear, though, Nelson added, and quote and unquote, this is not endemic to Washington, D.C., and he's absolutely right. We're having the same problem all over the country, especially in New York. The national economic crisis has hit theater companies across the country hard, but we, as an African American community, have been waging this war since the turn of the 19th century. Okay? And let's not go into the Hispanic theater, because that's another political situation going on there. I don't know. Write to me. Let me know your opinion.